Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. Joan served the state of California as a member on the Arts Council and on the Film Commission. She was formerly on the Architectural Commission and fulfilled 2 terms on the Fine Arts Commission for the city of Beverly Hills. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, Condé Nast Publications, and the Hearst Corporation, Joan covered the world of fashion, the mysteries of food, the excitement of theater, and the international art scene. She continues to find people who are on the cutting edge of their professions. Here's Joan Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. We're here in the heart of Hollywood at the Hollywood Museum on Highland. And my guests today are author Matthew Emerizian and actress Sonja Alarr. Matthew Emerizian, co-author and co-founder of Every Monday Matters, was born and raised in Modesto. He graduated from UCLA, where he played water polo, and went on to get his MBA there. Matt, who was in the music business, had all the great tales of life in the fast lane. I don't know if you're going to tell us that, but with major names. When he went back home to the Central Valley, something happened because they all wanted to hear your stories.
Of course.
And then things changed for you.
Yeah, I thought that, I was living in the city of angels, and I was deep in the music industry, working with the biggest artists in the business, working with Robert Kardashian and his music marketing company, and I thought that it was the dream life.
Who were you dealing with? Or
well,
did you actually know these people too?
I got to meet many of
musicians?
the artists, yeah. And probably my favorite of all time is U2, and I actually got to work with them and meet them. So that was pretty much the highlight of my career in terms of artistry. But I got to work with the biggest projects for the biggest ones: Usher, Coldplay, Tim McGraw. But mostly with the label, mostly with management. And Robert had a great business, and he hired me to be a senior vice president, and we had a blast together.
So you used to go back home to the Central Valley and
That's
tell
right.
all these stories about rock and roll in Hollywood.
That's right.
But then what changed in your life?
Well, I woke up on a Monday morning, just getting ready for work, thinking everything was fine, and all of a sudden I thought I was having a heart attack. And I ended up driving myself to the doctor, which is not a great idea if you think you're having a heart attack. But in my former life, I was an ambulance driver, so I figured I could do it. Yeah.
You were?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll do this.
Yeah, so I can do it, fine. And so I drove to the doctor, and we determined that I was just having a severe panic attack. And I'd never had anxiety or panic in my life ever.
How did that happen?
It's I don't really know how it happened.
Did your heart beat? Was your heart
beating?
beating?
My heart was racing. I was sweating. I was freaking out. I felt like I just had to go running in the street. I mean, I was really kind of losing it. And unfortunately, he said, go home and rest and it should get better. And unfortunately, that's not what happened. It actually got worse. Oh. And it turned into chronic anxiety disorder.
Wow.
And which basically started to shut my life down.
Oh my gosh. And then you found a therapist who helped you.
I found a therapist.
How did you find the therapist? Because was it a woman?
It was a woman.
That she did wonders.
Well, so someone who I spoke to is actually a friend of yours, Barbara Carr, introduced me to another person who introduced me to this therapist.
Is that how you found, like friends and family?
Yeah, and it wasn't like 1-800-THERAPIST or anything. Yeah. And fortunately, from the first second I walked in, we just clicked, and she told me that we're going to make you understand that until you live a life that's not about you, you're never going to feel better. And that was really the motto then for my trying to understand what went wrong.
But, I'm sure therapists say that to a lot of people, and
yeah.
It never clicks. But with you, it happened to click.
It clicked. I mean, it was hook, line, and sinker for me. At this point, I was about a month into my anxiety disorder. My parents had to move in with me. I couldn't drive a car. I couldn't eat. When it got dark outside, I couldn't look out the windows. I was desperate for help.
It really got worse and worse?
Worse, yeah, way worse.
Was it from drugs and drinking, or from overworking, or what?
I think, I mean, all those things were part of my life, for sure. But I think it was just really just living a life with just my purpose in life was just so not meaningful. And it was all about me. And the more Matt could have fun, and the more money Matt could make, and the more it was about just things that don't matter. And I think eventually it caught up with my soul.
Well, that's what happened, obviously, because here you were. She was telling you about doing good deeds.
Yeah. So I mean, literally, after my first session, she said, "So this Saturday, I want you to go out and I want you to go buy some bread and bologna and chips and fruit, and I want you to go feed homeless people." I'm like, "Why would I go do that?" And she's like, "Just trust me, go do it." So every Saturday at 9 a.m., she'd make me go do something like this. And I thought she was crazy. I didn't understand what she meant.
But you did do it.
I did it. And one Saturday morning, I was out picking up litter, of all things, by myself. And I thought, this is my favorite time of the entire week. Like, I can't wait for next Saturday to come.
You were just alone. Did she tell you to pick up litter?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
So you're just following directions.
I'm a professional. Yeah.
But you're just following directions
That's
and
right.
doing what she tells you.
Yeah.
And how long were you in therapy with her?
Oh, I'm still in therapy with her today.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
I mean, not like I was before. I call her my expensive friend now.
Exactly. But then did she motivate you to write a book? How did
No,
that
she
happen?
didn't. So
Because this is Every Monday Matters
That's right.
by Matt Emerizian and
Kelly Boza, who's a good friend of mine.
Kelly Boza.
So I called my friend Kelly, said, "Listen, Kelly, I want to write a book." And her response to me was, "Matt, you don't even read books. How are you going to write one?"
Exactly.
But I'm like,
I play music.
right. I said, "I get it, but I want to write a book that shows us that we can change the world, one small action at a time." And it was, what if we all planted a tree? What if we all donated blood? What if we all picked up litter or smiled more? Or just these simple
Said
things.
hello.
Yeah, said hello. And so that was the concept for the book.
So the two of you wrote it?
Yeah.
So she decided, you're not nuts, I'm going to write it with
That's
you?
right. Yeah, I'm going to join in.
I'm
yeah.
going to come in.
Yeah.
And then how did you physically start writing it?
Well, we just started. We started working together after work every Tuesday and on Sundays every week.
So far we haven't gotten to Monday, but go on. Tuesday,
R-
Thursday,
the-
Saturday picking up trash.
Well, actually, it started with the Monday because Monday morning is when I had my breakdown.
I see. That's why Monday. That
Yeah.
answers that question.
Right.
But also, I remember on Mondays where I'd hate to get up. Oh, this is the beginning of the week. I hate to go to school. I hate to
right.
go to work. And so you changed that idea. Because
Yeah,
every Monday matters. It starts your week.
That's right, and a lot of people have come to me and said, Matt, are you like doing like the Monday makeover?
Yeah.
Which sounds
right.
so Oprah or something, right?
Right.
And I guess in some ways we are. I didn't see it that way at first, but the truth is that we are becoming synonymous with Monday now, and gosh, Monday can mean something empowering
Right.
and inspiring, and it is changing the way people start their week and live their week.
So when you started writing with Kelly, what did you start doing? Saying, I'm going to pick up trash, or my therapist told me I have to be nice, feed the homeless? I mean, what would you do?
Well, we started with a list. So what is a list of things that we could do that are simple for people to do? Mm-hmm. Originally, we actually called it Why Wouldn't You? Because it was so simple, why wouldn't you do it?
Right,
and
exactly.
My father is responsible for the Every Monday Matters now. But, and we made this list, and we picked 52 of them for the year, so 52 Mondays for the year.
Is that right?
And we just started researching them because we wanted there to be statistics to show why it's important. And then we wanted to give them ideas that they could do and then an impact statement for each of the Mondays.
So what was on the list? Did you use all the things that you had?
No, we had over 100 of them. We picked 52. My favorite one on the list is probably my biggest pet peeve is don't flick your cigarette butt Monday. Because when people flick their cigarette butts, it just yanks my chain. And so we researched that we smoke 300 billion cigarettes in our country a year, but we only litter 100 billion of them.
Oh, you litter, right.
We litter 100 billion of them.
Right.
Cigarette butts are the most littered item in America. And we figured out if you put them end on end, they go from LA to New York 337 round trips a year.
Wow.
So every year we build this cigarette butt freeway across our country with our litter. And which is gross and environmentally wrong, but what it also shows us is that every single person that littered one of those butts didn't think their butt mattered.
Right. It's just one.
It's just one.
Right.
My butt doesn't matter. It's
Just
funny
like,
to say.
just like picking up one piece of trash
Right.
doesn't matter either.
Or voting, right?
Or voting.
My vote-
One vote. We always say,
Yeah.
it's only one
Well,
vote.
it's one vote.
But what about people who don't smoke? I don't litter with my cigarette butts.
Right.
What other ones could I
Well,
have?
that's when the whole motto of "it's not about you" comes into play.
But that was about
Right,
me because
exactly.
I couldn't do that.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
No, there's people ask me too all the time. Matt, do you do all 52 things? And there are some I probably haven't done. I'm not sure, but there's 52,000 things you can do, right?
Exactly, right. They don't have to be what you tell us to do.
Right. No, exactly. It's not about me either. So it's getting people to understand that they matter, that they can have an impact on the world, and we do, whether we want to or not. We can choose for it to be negative or positive. And I'm trying to get people to understand that if you live a purpose-driven life that's about doing good for the world, you're probably going to have a more fulfilled life as well. And the world becomes a better place.
So you should not be having any panic attacks now because you're doing good things.
That's right. Now I just have stress.
Oh, I see. Now you have stress. How did you make this Every Monday Matters into a big nonprofit business?
Well,
you're bringing in the corporate world now.
Yeah, and education especially.
The education part is great. Tell us about both of those.
So when the book came out, about a month after it came out, I got an email from a woman who was driving in Palm Springs, and she ended up finding a woman who was going to commit suicide and jumping from an oncoming car. And she sends me this email about she would not have stopped to help this woman if she hadn't read my book. And that was to me my moment to say, okay, it's enough of the music business. I'm done. Now I am going to try to make Every Monday Matters a household name. So we shot a video and put that online and got a bunch of followers. This was 4 years ago when San Diego was on fire.
Oh, yeah.
And so then we did a letter writing campaign to the firefighters and got thousands of letters. And then I got asked to write a newspaper column in the Modesto Bee, where I'm from.
Yay!
Yay, Modesto. And then that got syndicated out to 400 papers.
But see, that's what happens. One little thing, one Modesto column.
I know.
And then did you use your... And then what did Oprah do?
So then Oprah's camp called, and they wanted us to be on Oprah.com and in her newsletter every Monday. So we did that.
And were you using things out of the book?
Straight out of the book, yeah. And then I got calls from prisons who were using our book with convicted felons and things to help them understand that they still mattered. And
how did they get your book?
I have no idea. They bought in bookstores.
Isn't that amazing?
And the biggest thing that happened for us was the teachers then who bought our book, and they contacted us. And when I say us, it was really pretty much me by myself at home.
Me? Oh, it's all about me now.
I was the only employee. And they asked us if we had lesson plans that we could use for our kids, the kids in school. So Kelly and I wrote a school curriculum with a bunch of educators in Northern California to teach our youth that they mattered through self and social responsibility projects. And that's been out for 3 years now, and we're in 1,500 schools.
So it's in the schools.
Yeah,
and the
42
teachers
states.
are in 42 states?
Yeah.
All across the country? Did your MBA work at UCLA help you at this point? Because you got grants, you got people partnering with you?
Sure. I mean, the MBA didn't come so much into play in the music business.
Yeah.
But no, it does here. And we just converted to a nonprofit, and we're just creating our board right now.
Oh, that's so great.
So we just hired our first grant writer.
Oh.
And so we're
So you don't write grants?
No.
That's a real special thing.
Yeah, that's not one I have.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you are making a difference, and every Monday, it's so positive. The story just moved me so much. I couldn't believe it. I mean, 52 little haikus in a way that are backed up with...
I've never heard it put that way, but yeah,
but
that's right.
But it is, just because that's what you have to put in your mind.
Yeah.
And it's like doing random deeds of kindness.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Did you put money in somebody's meter?
Just now?
No,
but I tell you what, I had to go in to buy something at Mel's Diner so I could get my parking for free.
Yes.
And the guy and I asked for an iced tea, and he's like, you don't have to pay me. You can just have it for free.
So that was sweet.
And he did. He just made a difference in my day.
So here we are at the Hollywood Museum doing random deeds of kindness.
Right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And don't go away. We'll be right back with singer, comedian Sonja Alarr. Hi, welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles, and here we are at the Hollywood Museum again. I'm with actress, comedian, singer, cynic, and life coach, Sonja Alarr. She's written and performed in an autobiographical play called unwrap the present. I read that she says she was taken, I don't know if this is true, but this is what she says, from a depressed housewife to a resurrected artist. What does that mean?
All true, all true.
All true? How did that happen, Sonja?
I don't know. How did it happen that anybody becomes a housewife? I don't know.
No. How did you get resurrected?
No, I know. Well, you know, I really was an actor for a long time, and I'd gone to
And what
school
were you
for it.
doing? You were?
I was doing theater.
Theater.
Mostly, I was doing theater down. I did some at La Jolla Playhouse, some up in Santa Barbara at PCPA, in you know, where is that, Santa Maria, and you know, just kind of around regional theater. And then I stopped, and I had a couple of kids, and I stayed home to raise them, and you know.
Had you gone to CalArts yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you had already gone to CalArts.
I went to CalArts right out of high school.
And you were right out of high school in Colorado?
In Grand Junction, Colorado.
So none of those things made you depressed?
Oh, sure they did. Grand Junction, Colorado. I don't know if anybody's ever been there. No, actually, it's a beautiful little town, but I was just not a small town girl.
I got it. Okay.
So then I came here, and CalArts, you know, it's a great school, but I really was a person who had just a propensity for depression, so I was pretty miserable there, too. I was pretty miserable for
You really were?
many, many years, yeah.
You really
Until
were?
I was about 38.
Is that right?
Yeah, till I started.
So
some of the
when
life
you
stuff.
got to CalArts, did that was that schooling that led you to acting and artistry and whatever else you were doing?
No, you know, I always wanted to be an actor ever since I was really little.
Oh, so it wasn't.
You know, I had auditioned for that school and just happened to get in, and I was really grateful to be there. But you know, it was pretty rough on the self-esteem too, because they were pretty tough there.
But they're so talented. There's so many talented people.
Yeah,
So
that's
just
right.
for you to be able to go there was a big thing.
Yeah, and I didn't really know that. I mean, I didn't have a backup plan. I was going to audition for Juilliard, and I was going to audition for CalArts.
That was
and if I
it?
didn't get in, I don't know what I was going to do.
Oh, but you were a singer.
Yeah, but I was, you know, I really didn't become a singer either until fairly recently because I was so scared to sing. I had a real phobia about it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
was
I
really
thought you
afraid to
went
do
in
it.
as a singer. Then
No.
what made you decide to write this monologue? Or have you written many monologues?
You know, I hadn't written that many monologues. I just decided to do this because I was pretty depressed as a housewife, and I wanted to. I actually consulted a psychic. I was like,
Did you?
what should I do to try to, you know, come back into the world of making a living and all that kind of stuff? And I just didn't want to try to go back to acting because the rejection I thought was really hard.
And what did the psychic say to a cynic?
I know. Why on earth would I be consulting a psychic? My babysitter gave me a session with her, and so I called to be polite and take that present. And the psychic said, "Hey, have you ever thought about becoming a life coach?" And what was weird was that I had just read about this life coach training program the day before I called her.
This is so weird.
It was
So what's a life coach? And what's a therapist? You
Okay.
know, okay?
Yeah,
I think a life coach.
a therapist has a true degree
Oh,
in
right.
mental health, you know.
She's a real person.
She's a real person. Exactly. No, I think of it this way. I think if you break your leg, you need to go to rehab and really get somebody who knows truly how to help you
Right.
fix your leg.
Right.
But if you just are out of shape and overweight, you might just want to go see a personal trainer.
Process of becoming a life coach.
I just took a certification program that was offered a class on the phone.
Oh, on
And-
the phone?
Yeah, you take these classes. They're on the phone. They're, you know, it was a year-long class. You'd meet. You do tons of assignments. You know, you go in person to meet all the different people.
Are there
and-
different people on the phone with
yeah.
you?
Yeah, all these different instructors. You know, and so
And how long are you on the phone?
hour and a half,
Oh,
2 hours.
wow.
A day. So you get this training, and actually, a life coach, though, I think. I mean, I'd done a lot of therapy and stuff like that for depression, but honestly, being coached and becoming a life coach was the thing that sort of got me out of real
So
habitual depression.
how helpful are you to your patients? I mean,
My
what do you
clients.
tell them to do?
You know, I think I'm really helpful. I think therapy is great if you want to know why you are the way you are. And
that's a good
if you
point.
want to have movement, though, going forward, I think a coach can be really helpful.
Just to
think
give you the encouragement? Or do you give
it's-
them ideas?
It's ideas. It's more working with some of your thought processes to kind of change your thoughts so that you can change your perceptions a little bit of reality. It's tuning in with your own body and listening to your gut, literally, and sort of choosing what you truly do love to do, figuring that out, and then, you know, making your way toward it. We have a lot of little exercises that we do that we help
Oh, you
people.
do? Do you see? Oh, so they've taught you. They teach you how to guide,
Yeah.
the guidance.
Yeah, and then
I
you make
see.
up a lot of your own sort of exercises too. And I tend to specialize with people who are creative and stuck.
I see. So if, oh, I see. So if they can't put a word on a white page
Right.
or a piece of paint,
Right.
I
But
see.
they're dying to, and
Yeah.
they'd love to, and they used to, but now they feel like they can't for some reason. Because I think most people in the world want to be creative.
We all get stuck
Yeah.
in things like that.
Yeah.
I see. So you don't have to go into therapy for years and years.
I
You
don't
can
think you
just
do.
make a phone call
I
to
think
you.
that's right. I think that's right.
But you do this over the phone too.
I do. I do some of it over the phone, and that seemed very weird to me at first. I was like, huh, that's like getting a checkup by email. How are we going to work that out? But it actually works pretty well.
Really?
And some people do better over the phone because they don't have to, you know, if they're shy, they don't have to be seen necessarily. And of course, it's fun for me because I can be in my pajamas.
I forgot that face-to-face thing could be daunting as well. Okay, so you write this. You're a life coach.
So I'm a life coach, and I'm constantly encouraging people to really get back in touch with what they truly love to do, and then go do that. And a part of me was thinking, yeah, but what you really love to do is act. I mean, I also love to coach now, but I really love to act and sing and write. And so I thought, well, I better get back to that. I heard my teacher say one day, if you knew for sure that you were going to die 10 years from today, what would you regret not having done?
Oh,
and I
yes.
thought, I'd regret not performing again.
Okay, so unwrap the present. But my question is, unwrap the present gift, unwrap the present today. We're sitting
Correct.
here.
Correct.
Which one? Correct.
Both. I like puns. I also have a degree in literature and feminist theory, so I like words. I like puns. And for me, unwrap the present. I mean, what happened to me, I think, was that I was really stuck in that past. And you can't really, I don't think a person can live very effectively when they're in the past and unhappy. So for me, being in the present was a real skill to
being
try
in
to
the
learn.
present. You told me to look on your website, and there's an apple, and as you cut into the apple, an orange comes out. So I figure, like, this is unwrapping something.
Yeah, unwrapping something that you might not know is there, not being afraid to get to the center of things, not being afraid that maybe your interior is different from what your exterior has presented all these years.
So who directed you?
Joan Quinn is a friend who is a renowned opera singer, and he directed the piece, and we have the same voice teacher in common, and so she suggested that I give it to him.
I see. And you got help from an Emmy and DGA nominee.
Yes, well, that's my husband, so he had to help.
That was. He's very prominent in his field as well.
He is, and so he was willing to come on as a producer. He felt like maybe he wouldn't have time to direct, and I thought, well, maybe I need somebody who's a little bit more musically inclined anyway. So the two of us, and then our accompanist, Cassie, who is wonderful, wonderful. We have a really nice a real nice rapport.
So on stage, it's you and your accompanist.
Yep.
Accompanist.
Try to spell it.
Accompanist.
Yes.
Accompanist.
Cassie Nichols. She's wonderful.
So what series of awakenings came to you while you were doing this? What did you go through?
You know, it's based on my teacher, Martha Beck, has a model that she calls the 4 squares of change. And there's square one, which is when you're just in the crap, you know, you're completely dissolved, you're depressed, or something has happened to you where you can't be the same person you were the day before. And then you go through square 2, dreaming and scheming.
Right.
Then square 3 is just kind of doing the work to get to what you really want, and then square 4 is sort of the promised land. So I based the show on that because that's sort of what I had gone through as a coach and as an artist.
And as you were being depressed, you were watching TV and drinking and eating and mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese figures prominently.
Do you give that recipe out? Did you have a good recipe for mac and cheese?
I have a great recipe for mac and cheese, but it's my friend Zelma's recipe. But I can tell you it uses 6 different kinds of cheese.
That's a really good thing. Does it make it like really creamy?
Really creamy. She uses Velveeta as the secret ingredient.
So what else is in Unwrap the Present?
Well, you know what? I think it's just a really funny show. It's cynical still. It takes you on the journey from. It doesn't just preach
It's
about
cynical.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I keep forgetting. You're not a cynic anymore.
A little, though. I mean, you know, you meet a lot of life coaches, and they sort of tend to wow you with their positive, hey, everything's great. And I am still not really that person.
Okay.
I mean, I think that you can still have your bad days and be a coach.
So you still continue with sex, drugs, and rock and roll?
As much as possible. Not the drugs so much, because I do have kids, but, you know, sex and rock and roll was never a problem. That's never harmful to anybody.
So will you take this play around the country?
My hope is that we will take it around. What the next incarnation, I did it at the big life coaching convention. Yeah, and that was a blast.
Did they love it? Because
they did
do you
love
make
it.
fun of life
Oh,
coaches?
yeah. And I talked about how, you know, difficult it was and how fun it was and everything else. They loved it. I've never been in a show where I got 6 standing ovations during the show.
Oh, because
I felt like a rock star.
they were all relating.
Yeah. But, you know, we did it here, too, in previews, and people saw it here who weren't life coaches, and they seemed to really love it, too. So the next incarnation of it is a showcase, an industry showcase in Beverly Hills.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yes, and the hope is that, you know, somebody will see it and make us all stars. I don't know.
So could it be a series?
I think it could be a series. I think it could be either a reality series wherein
that's
a
a good
person, you know, a coach helps stuck creatives try to get back on their game.
Stuck creatives.
or it could be, I think, like you know how Girls has that tone between drama and comedy?
Yes.
I think it could be sort of like that, a fictionalized version of trying to maintain a family relationship along with being a coach and seeing, you know, clients who are unhappy and also trying to build yourself up as an artist again.
Well, I think one of the key is unwrapping the present is laughter.
I think
because
so,
you
too.
brought a lot of laughter to us
Oh,
today.
good. I'm so glad. I'm glad to be of service.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure, John.
And thanks for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles. Keep emailing me at jaquinn1@aol.com. And we'll see you next time on the Joan Quinn Profiles.